Sunny. You write so big and you speak so strong. May many more sunny days you swig as we all around you throng. For we hold you in great thrall. No one can out Gavaskar at all. So lots of love on your birthday from Kishore and myself.
Happy birthday, Mr. Sunil Gavaskar sir. I think Mr. Gavaskar sir is perhaps the only reason why I fell in love with the game of cricket. Yes, it goes back way back 1976 and later on 77-8 when I actually started following the game. I was a little child, 6 years, 7 years old, and I absolutely fell in love with the way Gavaskar sir conducted himself on the field. Right from the way he entered the cricketing pitch with his bat and his floppy sun hat, the way he walked, his arm guard, forearm guard, I think everything like stuck on, the image is stuck on a child just about learning the game of cricket, not knowing how or what are the technique or how it is played, but the images of Sunil Gavaskar was something. Even today, I am at 50, I vividly remember those days when he used to walk on the field, the way he walked, everything was mesmerizing. And then of course his cricketing exploits. I mean, legend is a very often used word these days, but actually if it fits someone, it has to be Gavaskar sir. I mean, what innings we were fortunate to see live sometimes on the radio, but we were glued to either the television screen or the radio, listening to every time Gavaskar sir was batting, and we were like such fanatics that whenever he scored the first runs of a boundary, we used to say, here is our Gavaskar sir going to score a century. And yes, he did most of the times. A man who kind of inspired millions of cricketers across India and the world. And I think the generation of cricketers that followed Mr. Gavaskar sir, mostly the batsmen were mostly inspired by him. I mean, had Gavaskar not been playing the game, perhaps we wouldn't have seen a Sachin Tendulkar or a Rahul Dravid. But those are big legends themselves. Talking of lesser mortals like us, yes, we modeled our game on this man. You know why? Because that is the kind of inspiration he was to millions like us. I remember when I first started training under former Bengal captain Shivaji Roy. I remember him telling me, do not be a copycat, because I was copying his stance. I was trying to copy his shots, which he said was right, but not the stance and not everything that he did, because there are certain reasons why he did a lot of things, which later on in life I could understand. But those were the lasting impressions that Gavaskar sir had on every child holding a bat and wanting to emulate like him. Yes, he inspired us to excel, and perhaps his greatest contribution to India was uniting India like never before. Yes, he united India. I think the other person who can also lay equal credit was, of course, Mr. Kapil Dev Nikanj. But for us, it was Sunil Manohar Gavaskar, and I think no amount of regional bitterness could creep in any of us who were idolizing this man till the last day that he scored. And what performances! I think I'm not getting into the technicalities because there are too many other experts who actually have spoken about his batting, about his cricketing skills. But for me, somebody who wanted to be a cricketer, unfortunately we couldn't go through the entire process, able to play till around the junior levels and a part of the senior levels. But what was inspiring and what made me a fan or a follower of this man was his absolute dedication to the game of cricket, his immense powers of concentration, and perhaps the technical excellence that he instilled in himself was actually something which a lot of people like me, a lot of cricket lovers and cricket players like me, small time and big time, actually emulated. So those were his contribution to the game. I'm not talking about the leader that he was. He was a leader par excellence. We could see that in 1985 when he took us to victory at the Melbourne Cricket Ground at the World Championships of Cricket. But more than that, he has actually been an inspirational leader too. Picked up a number of talents from across the country, and I think he had an eye for talent, and that showed in the way he went about selecting teams and selecting talents. But the Gavaskar sir that I know much later, when I was a Rotarian and when I was volunteering for Thalassemia Society of India, one fine morning I came to know that Gavaskar sir is coming down to Kolkata to inaugurate a children's ward at a cancer hospital at the Sharoj Gupta Cancer Research Institute in Thakurpukur, Behala. And I did not lose a second trying to seize the opportunity to have him with my children at the Thalassemia Society of India. And the moment I got through to him, I was actually amazed. I was like, I was daydreaming kind of feeling when I actually spoke to my
innings started off on a high note with Shrikant and Gavaskar. After Shrikant was out, Mohinder Amanath also was soon dismissed, caught and bowled by left-arm spinner Iqbal Qasim. But then came the moment everyone was waiting for. Gavaskar executing a delectable late cut off Ejaz Faqih. He has scaled 10,000 runs. At stumps, Dilip Vengsarkar was batting with 62 and night watchman Kiran More with 1.
Sunil, you're normally a very reserved
spoke to the
person,
little master later.
but today it was a strange sight to see you give way to uncontrolled elation as you ran down the wicket. Did something snap at that moment?
No, I think it's just the fact that 10,000 runs is something which I never expected to score in my life. I think it's 9,000 runs too many. I would have been very happy with the 1,000 runs in my test career, but this is 9,000 runs plus for me, so I think it was just a moment of sheer joy for me. And I suppose there are moments when one can't always control one's emotions.
And this was one of those.
Yes, it certainly was.
Sunil, what sort of mental preparation had you made before going in for this particular innings?
Well, there wasn't any mental preparation as such. It was just that, I knew that I had to get going, get some runs, give the side a start. And then the runs, the required number of runs would come in. And I just played it as if I was opening another test match.
There was no special attention to any particular detail for this particular innings?
No, but I was very keen to get it done fast because, I think now it was really getting to me, everybody meeting and telling you 10,000. So I think I'm really happy that that's passed now.
Well, he kept his word. He was there with us for the children. He spent hours with them before flying off to Mumbai. And more than anything else, the way he understood the plight of the thalassemia children, their parents, and the need of the hour to support the thalassemia children. He came forward to say that I'll be there with your cause as long as I can. Until date, he has always been there, supporting the cause, creating awareness about the dreaded disease, and of course supporting the cause of blood donation as and when we have approached him or pleaded for his support. But this was the humanitarian or the charitable Gavaskar sir. What I and my fellow members who were there felt and shared was his immense experience as a cricketer. I think those 5 to 6 hours that we spent together that evening actually helped me kind of understand his mind, understand the kind of mindset that he had, the discipline that he always practiced. I think those were the things that were left with me forever. Indelible impression of his perfection and his sense of timing, and of course his wonderful sense of humor that really struck a very deep chord between us. And till date, I'm really proud and privileged to actually have kept this, connect with this. I just wouldn't qualify him as a legend. I think he's absolutely a monumental inspiration for the country. And I'm so glad that I could actually even know this man. I mean, even knowing him as a cricketer, as an idol was something else, but knowing him as a great human being, I think that is very important. I mean, only such great people can be such great human being, and I'm absolutely blessed that I actually know him the way that I do. And I just wish him a very, very long life, a very healthy life. I know how well he keeps himself fit. I think only he can do that, the kind of discipline that he maintains in his life. I wish him all the best for the future, good health, happiness, and a very happy birthday again, Sunil Gavaskar sir. It has been a rare privilege to know you. Thank you and good night.
I met you when I was a child. I went to your house to meet my pen friend Kavita, your sister, with my father and my mother, and as well as my brother, and the whole family had a lovely day meeting your family. And then your father, he was a good friend of my father after that, and we used to meet often whenever he would come to Calcutta. Today I really wanted to wish you, after I read in the newspaper what you have done for the 35 children who have heart problems. God bless you. May you keep doing wonderful things for people as well as for your sport. And may you live long and happily. Thank you.
Sunil Gavaskar, our dear Sunny Ji. Sunny. The name itself conjures up an image of a gritty fighter who stood up to the fearsome fast bowlers of the West Indies, the fast bowlers who were on the rampage in the early 70s, when Indian cricket team was known to be rather soft. I was a kid, of course, we were very small during his famous run in the West Indies, but I remember the newspapers were full of stories of his exploits. And that was the start of a legend that I consider I'm lucky to be a part of as an Indian. As young boys from a cricket crazy family, we all became his fans. Though my loyalties were divided, later in life when I grew up as a teenager between Sunny and Vishy, but then that's a different story. So Sunny was an inspiration to us all, not just the budding cricketers. Sunny was instrumental in making all of us believe that we can win too in foreign lands against such fearsome attacks. he brought in a kind of self-belief among all Indians when we won in the West Indies and later in England under Ajit Wadekar. But I believe that he started that revolution by his exploits in the West Indies. This was a time when India was facing a lot of internal and external challenges in many fronts. Social unrest, lack of jobs, looming war, later external threats. So India was going through all these challenges, and that's when Sunny arrived and helped in binding the people together with his game. So that's a huge contribution. He has an aura, people listen to him, they look up to him. As cricket enthusiasts and young batsmen, of course, we all copied his style, his stance, trying to play in the V, play straight like he used to, or even flick. When I remember whenever he started his innings with a flick to the boundary, he normally scored a century. Okay, so even the left-handed ones like me were trying to copy him. So Sunny started a revolution in the Indian cricket, which I think has lasted till today. I believe that Sunny helped transform the Indian team when we were mostly also-rans and making up the numbers. We always had brilliant players, but we never were a team. He coalesced the team together, ushering in a revolution, making people sit up and take a look at this new India. Everyone knew about his exploits with the bat as the records kept tumbling, and I remember how, along with my brothers, jumped up in joy and celebrated whenever he broke a record. When he crossed Bradman's 29th century, when he scored his 30th, or when he became the first man to score 10,000 runs. I know Sunny is involved in a lot of social projects, and one of them is the Thalassemia Hospital that he came to visit here in Calcutta. I had a great fortune of meeting him, thanks to my brother Shubhajit, and drove him around Calcutta in our little Maruti 800 from Grand Hotel to the hospital and then to the airport. I remember a funny incident. My wife came to know that my brother and we were planning to meet Sunny and take him to the hospital. So she also came along, and she left a family wedding and told everybody that she's going to attend the wedding after we come back, after dropping Sunny to the airport. She's a bigger fan of Sunil Gavaskar than us. Wishing you a very, very happy birthday, dear Sunny. Stay blessed, and may you keep inspiring all of us for a long, long time.
Test your blood for thalassemia trait carrier before marriage and help make this a thalassemia-free India. God bless.